Hey everyone, how's it going today? Coach Alvarez here, back at you another episode Coffee with Coach on this awesome Tuesday morning. Hope you're up, doing well, got the mind in the right place, but if not, as always, let's put it in the right place. So, let's switch some things up today. Normally I kind of go over some videos, book, quote, something I read, heard, whatever, and share it with you guys. But today I'm going to share with you guys a little something that I've been dealing with lately as a coach, that I deal with all the time. It's quite frequent, but lately it just seems to be more of a thing where, I'm just getting it within the last couple of weeks, these inboxes, conversations after class, whatever, the feeling of, coach, I suck at Jujutsu, what do I do? Individuals actually think, that Jujutsu maybe isn't for them. They feel like they're not progressing. They feel like, the struggle is a little too much. And they actually feel like at some point either quitting, altogether or taking a break or what have you. And this is coming about from, one of the conversations last night after class. And I had quite a few people, had to be at least 15 people, stick around after class. They're sharing moves, they're drilling. Some people are still grappling. Class is over. People are just hanging out, talking, that kind of thing. And I just had a student come up afterwards and was like, "Hey, coach, I just feel like my jiu-jitsu sucks. And, what do I do?" And so he's only been training for like 3 months, okay? And so I had to put things in perspective for him. And I want to put things in perspective for anyone out there that's new to jiu-jitsu or, that has been training for a very, very long time. That feeling, okay, it's a feeling, okay? It's not actually like a true thing. That feeling never really goes away. With someone with just 3 months of jiu-jitsu in, yeah, you're going to feel like you suck at jiu-jitsu because you're just learning like concepts and how jiu-jitsu works and trying to connect moves together and everything else. And so, and you're probably getting smashed, right? Like you're probably getting tapped out left and right, and you're struggling in mount positions and, whatever, dominant positions. You're getting dominated. Someone else is imposing your will. So you're getting excited. You wait all day to come to practice. Then when you get to practice, you start the rounds, and then you're starting to get smashed by your teammates. But that's the beauty about jiu-jitsu. That's the process. That's part of the journey, the road to getting to black belt and everything else. Building mental toughness and everything else. Like once you appreciate that struggle, everything else gets better, right? You have to appreciate the struggle. Like you gotta you hear the phrase all the time, embrace the suck. It's gonna be tough, a tough workout, a tough whatever. Once you embrace that and your mindset is, takes that feeling on, then everything starts to just get better, right? One of the problems is a lot of people have done other sports, or, maybe education or whatever the case may be, where they were really good in something else prior to jiu-jitsu. And then now all of a sudden, they think that they're going to just walk out onto the mat and whatever else they were good at, whatever sport they were good at, whatever they were good in at work or education, school, is going to just translate over to the mats. And it doesn't work that way. That's the beauty about jiu-jitsu. That's why you have so much respect for other people that do jiu-jitsu, is because you got to go through what everyone else went through. There is no shortcut to the game. There is no, well, I was really good in baseball or basketball or swimming or volleyball, some superb athlete, and think that you're just going to walk onto the mat and then you're going to be some super awesome, jiu-jitsu practitioner right when you start. Does not work that way. You have to go through what everyone else goes through. You have to go through those pains, those peaks and valleys, those ups and downs, those days where you want to quit like everyone else does. And even when you get past the white belt stage and blue belt stages, towards a year into your blue belt, maybe a little bit later than that, close to purple, things start to get a lot easier. But it never goes away. You're still going to have a teammate or teammates that give you a really hard time at all the other belts, to where it makes you question your belt rank, makes you question your skill set, makes you question everything. But that's just the way it works. And once you embrace that this is the way that this thing works, it's meant to test me day in and day out, then things get a lot easier. So what I did was, last night, the individual that was talking to me, with all those other 10 or 15 people that were still on the mat, I just asked everyone to give me their attention, and so that I could ask each individual, because there was quite a few white belts on the mat. They've been training longer than this individual, and there were some brown belts, there were some purple belts, blue belts. So there was a lot of different belt ranks on the mat after class last night, when this white belt that's been training 3 months was talking to me. So I just went around the room and was like, hey, do you ever feel like your jiu-jitsu sucks? And everyone said yes. Even the high ranks, even the guys that have been training 4 or 5 years, all feel at some point or another that their jiu-jitsu sucks. So anyone new that's training jiu-jitsu, you're just starting this jiu-jitsu journey out, okay? Or you find this video, however you find it. The sooner that you embrace that every time you walk out onto that mat, it's going to be tough, things will just get easier. You're just going to you will just get this mental toughness, physical toughness about you, that nothing else will build that in you like jiu-jitsu, or unless you wrestled. Okay, I wrestled in high school. So if you wrestled in high school, you wrestled in college, that's probably one of the closest things that, I've felt that like jiu-jitsu has given me, that mental toughness, to be able to battle through things, because it sucks. It does. There's times where it's just, you have some really, really rough days where you don't win any round. You got smashed on every round. And like one of the other white belts has only been training a couple months. Last night, I asked him, hey, do you ever feel like, you suck in jiu-jitsu? And that individual said, yeah, there's days where I never want to come back again. And excuse me, there's a lot of people that laughed, because they laughed not at him, but laughing at the point that they all probably felt that way too. At some point or another, felt like, you know what, forget this jiu-jitsu thing. This jiu-jitsu thing sucks. I don't want to feel this feeling anymore. So I'm just going to throw in my gi, to wrap it up and just go do something else that's a lot easier, okay? Now, for those individuals that do that, or go to a different school where it's easier because the rounds are easier and you're not going through as much pain and frustration, it's a false sense of accomplishments that you get when you don't go through what I put my students through, okay? What I put my students through, and what they have to go through the ranks and go through everything else that we go through on the mat, you'll be able to take that with you anywhere you go, to any other academy, anywhere else in life, on and off the mats, because of the things that you have to go through mentally and physically on the mats at our academy. And I've had quite a few people leave because of the fact that, they just don't want to roll, or they don't want to go through those frustrations. They want to just come in and do their own thing, like a 24-hour fitness. Like if you feel like doing bench today, you'll do some bench. If you feel like quitting halfway through the workout, you can. No one's really pressuring you. No one's making sure you finish your reps. You're supposed to maybe lift a little heavier today, and maybe I don't feel like it today. So you're basing your workouts off of your emotions and your feelings that day. In our academy, that just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. It doesn't matter what your feelings are, how you feel that day. If you're tired, if you've had a bad day, or you're arguing with your spouse, or your kids made you mad, it doesn't matter. The rounds are going to be the rounds. The class is going to be the class, and that's it. And a lot of people just have a hard time with that, because they just have a hard time with that. So what do? They either, one, they quit, or two, they'll go somewhere else where it's a lot easier, where they're just like a bigger fish in a small pond. And again, you just get that false sense of accomplishment. And then if they ever come back, they're just going to get destroyed anyways, because they never really got any better, because they're rolling with people with, lesser skill level, and they're just not getting pushed the same. So anyways, the feeling that you suck at jiu-jitsu is something that everyone goes through. So don't take it as you actually suck at jiu-jitsu, like it's not for you. It is for you. It just depends on whether or not you're going to have that mental toughness to dig it out and finish this thing through and see it that way. You know, some people, like the individual I was talking to last night, you know, he's like, well, I haven't done anything in 10 years. And, you know, I came across Jujutsu and it looked like a lot of fun. And it looked like a great workout and I really wanted to do it. So he's doing it. But with all that comes you being tested mentally and physically. You are being tested every single day you walk out onto that mat when you come and train with us. So it just depends on what you want. Do you want the easier path, the easier road, something that's nice and comfortable, or do you want something that's going to push you and make you grow and make you develop to be the best that you can actually be at this thing, and then also take that with you and go off and do anything else with it, whatever you want to in life, like off the mat, at work, at school, at whatever, because you know that, hey, look, if I can get through this, then I know I can get through anything, you know. This kind of stuff, that's just what it builds. And I'll never forget the time where my wrestling coach in high school asked me to come down from 128 to fight at 112, to wrestle at 112 by the following Saturday. So I had like a week or less than a week to cut that weight. I mean, that's a lot of weight, okay? And to help cut that weight, I remember them putting me in like, where like there's a line of wrestlers lined up and you're the one in the middle and they're shooting takedowns on you left and right and they're not letting you out until you run through everyone in that line. That day was absolutely horrific. Like it broke me down, like physically and mentally. I'm already weak from not eating the way I'm used to eating. I'm dehydrated. I'm just not 100% because I'm cutting this weight, and then now I got to wrestle all these guys. You know, some the same size as me, some a lot bigger. But it's just what I had to go through. But I'm thankful for those, because those kind of days where you feel like that's enough, let me out of here, I want off the mat, and my teammates and my coach make me stick it through and make me battle it through. I appreciate those, because I'm glad they didn't let me quit. Like, they didn't let me just say, all right, that's enough, stop it, And when you're able to push through those kind of training sessions, those kind of mental roadblocks in your head, physical things as well, you just turn into a different person. You just turn into a better person. You turn into a tougher person with more grit, more grind, more like you become more of a person where like you just like, yeah, man, bring it on. Let's take it. Let's get it. Let's get after it. And a lot of that has to do with, like, for me, like even with like mentally, like I said, you hear me talk about in these videos, people talk about me, they'll say things, and instead of getting my feelings hurt, it really just really gets me, man, to where it's like, okay, you messed up now, because now you just woke up the sleeping giant. I'm bringing the heat, and you shouldn't have did that. It's better that you just don't say anything and just keep it moving. But instead, people like to talk, so they do. And so all these years of wrestling and jujitsu and dealing with the things that I dealt with, man, you just become like unbreakable, you know what I mean? To the point where it's like, the answer is like, just give me more. Just bring more of that, so I can have more fuel to go do what I want to do. And so that's what I'm getting at with this jiu-jitsu thing. When you feel like you just suck at it, you need to tell them, bring me more of it. Bring me more of that. Bring more of the heat, more of the pressure, more of the tough times, because it builds a different type of person in you that nothing else will build in you. Nothing else. Most people go through their day-to-day. They go to work, get up, have their coffee, go to work, maybe some struggles with some coworkers or something, or a project or a supervisor, but nothing really physically and mentally like jiu-jitsu will put you through. And then they get out of work and they'll go to the bar, have some appetizers, whatever, and watch some TV, watch the news, and then they go to sleep, and then they repeat the cycle every day. Every day I'm on the mat, okay? Every day I'm on the mat. We're training, we're getting after it. And it's just building these calluses, so to speak, in your mind and in your body, to where it's like, man, yeah, this is gonna suck, and yeah, I'm gonna have to deal with some hard times, but you kind of want more of that. And that's the mentality you got to have. So when you feel like you suck at jiu-jitsu, you have two options. One, quit, okay? And it is what it is, guys. Like, it just is like, one, be soft and weak, okay, and quit, or, toughen up, get some grit about you, get some grind about you, get some mental toughness about you, get some heart, and get after it. Like, say, come on, let's do some more. That was tough, but I still got a lot more in me. Let's get after it. So it's very important that you're self-aware of your feelings and your emotions on when you feel that way. And I'm not talking about just on the mat either. I'm talking about off the mat. The minute you're feeling soft and weak, man, and you feel like you're broken down and you want to give up, you got to catch that stuff before it gets worse. And if you don't, it's only going to get worse. It's only going to grow and multiply to where it's like you really are going to give up. But at the moment where you feel, like you're breaking down and you're wanting to throw in the towel, man, that's where you need to check yourself and be like, I can't do that. I got too much riding on this. I put too much work in it, too much time and effort on whatever it is, and see it through and get after it to not only show yourself that you can do it, but other people around you. You know what I mean? Like, I got a lot of people that look at me for leadership and stuff like that, come to me for advice or whatever. And so, that's motivation enough to be like, yeah, man, I can't allow myself to get to be broken down like that. Whatever's meant there to be put in my path to break me down, I just use it to just build me up. And it's as simple as that. But you have to be self-aware of that. You got to know what's going on. You got to know what's happening around you and why it's there and who's there on purpose trying to either take things from you or put you down or do whatever. And you take that and you just grab a hold of it and you just go run with it and put it right back in their face and be like, here you go, man. You shouldn't have did that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking like physically putting something in their face. I'm talking about by you winning and doing good things when people are meant or something or someone is trying to break you down and see you lose. You're harnessing all that and you're picking yourself back up to show them that you're not going to lose, or the thing that's trying to do that to you, that you're not going to lose and you are going to win. I'm not talking about physically like putting your hands on someone or hurting someone. I'm talking about success is what pisses people off the most. They don't want to see you successful. They want to see you lose. That's what they get off on. And when you're winning and you're doing good things and you're not getting broken down, you're not giving up, that's what really gets them. That's what really gets them. So whatever is trying to get you down or bring you down or whatever, and you feel like you suck, that's when you need to get after it and make it happen. All right. So I'm going to leave it there. Gotta get up to the academy here soon. But you are always going to feel like you suck at something. And the minute you feel that way, that's the signal and the sign to just try harder and get after it. Ask more questions. Run harder, work out harder, train harder, study harder, whatever harder, to where, that feeling starts to go away, because, you're not running away from it. You're running towards it. Okay. You're running towards it. I know when I walk into my academy and I roll with certain students, it's going to be tough, but I like that. I want the toughest rounds. People in my academy know they can attest to this. Like, it's, I roll with the guys that give me the hardest times, and that's it. I don't want the guys that are going to be easy for me. You know what I mean? I don't get anything out of that. There's no growth there. All that is, again, is a false sense of like I'm doing something, which I'm not. I'm beating up on someone, tapping someone out. That's just easy rolls from me. You know what I mean? I'm always looking for the sharks, the lions, the gorillas, the whatever, the animals on the mat to grapple with, to frustrate me, to give me a hard time, because that's how I get better. So anyways, find those individuals, find that thing that's making you feel that way, and just face it head on and just get after it. And eventually you'll get better at it. All right. So that's my advice to anyone out there, white belt, someone new to jiu-jitsu, that you're feeling like this isn't for you, and this struggle of wanting to quit and not come back to the mat because you had a bad day. pick yourself back up, man, or woman, and get back to it. All right, don't quit. All right, we'll catch you guys on the next one. We'll see you.